To do the highlighter effect in Blender, we're going to first start off by going up to the top left, going to Edit, going to Preferences, and inside of Preferences, once it loads, we're going to go to Add-ons, and then search in the search bar for Image. And the first one that should pop up is Import, Export, Image as Planes. Once you've checked that, press A to select everything, and delete by pressing the Delete key. After you delete everything, go to the top left, File, Import, Images as Planes. Navigate to where you have it installed. After you've gotten the image, press 7 on the numpad. This will center you on the screen. Scroll in. Now at the top right, you'll see Material View and Shader View. I want to click on the Material View. This will allow us to see the actual words in the book. Now what we want to do is go to Add, Curve, Bezier. Now what we want to do is click on the Bezier curve. Press the Tab key to enter into edit mode. You can see at the top left, edit and object mode. You can select them without using tab by just clicking on which one you want. Then go to the top right where these two overlapping circles are. Click on the handles. This will show you the direction of the curve. Now press A to select everything. Once everything's selected, press V and vector. This will set both handles to the vector. Go to the left hand side, click on the move tool and make sure that you have this highlighted, the left handle. Place the left handle on where you want it to be. Click on one of the handles and press V, then vector. You can do it with the other one as well. This will fix the issue of it not being aligned. There we go. So now that we have it like that, I'm going to place it on the left hand side here of the word and then the right hand side. And I want it to highlight from left to right, so I want the arrows facing in the right direction. All right, now that we have it all lined up, I'm going to go to the top right. I'm going to click on this green Bezier curve. And inside of here, you'll see 2D and 3D. Make sure it's 3D. If it's 2D, you're going to run into problems. Make sure it's 3D. Scroll down, Geometry, and then for the offset and extrude. Now, I'm going to use middle mouse button to roll the camera down by putting it in the up direction. You can see on the right-hand side, you can just click on what you want it to be locked to, the Z-axis, the X-axis. So it's a very quick way of getting around. So you can go -Y, and there you go. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to extrude it by 1. Then what we're going to do is we're going to press A to select both of these. And on the right hand side, there's this little tiny thing. I'm going to click on that and you're going to see that it's going to say mean tilt. I'm going to make that 90 degrees. You can now see that the arrows are on the Z axis instead of the X or Y. Now what I also want to do is press tab to get out of that mode and then go to the rotation or location and go to the where it says Z. And this is the Z-axis, so we were going to make it 0.1. Now this lifts it off the page. That's a little too high, so we're going to see if we can't lower that to 0.001. There we go. So now it's just slightly off the page. Zoom out a little bit. 7 to go into aerial view above it. 7 on the numpad. So now with the transform still up, we're going to press in. This is going to get rid of that menu on the right-hand side. Click on the Bezier curve, and we're going to increase the size. So let's extrude it just a little bit more. That works. I like that. Now, on the right-hand side, click on the red shader view. Click on New. This is going to make a new shader for it. We're going to make it a highlighter yellow, so we're going to click on the base color. Make sure it's the base color. And we're going to go down here to yellow. Right around there is good. All right, now that you have it as the color you want it to highlight as, we're going to go down to roughness. We're going to make this 0.14. So this will just take the roughness down so it won't be as bad when it comes to the shading. Then we're going to go to blend mode all the way down at the bottom and do alpha blend. It's important that you're in this menu or this context menu of the material shader. Trying to do it inside of the shading menu actually does not yield very good results without doing a couple other things. This is the quickest way I found to do it. Then what you want to do is you want to go to alpha and I'll make it 0.25. So that'll give it a nice yellow sort of look. All right, now that we've done that, we're going to go to the Bezier curve. We're going to click on the left-hand side one. Right-hand side, there we go. And what we want is the direction, so start and end mapping. Now we're going to go to the bottom here, and we're going to actually pull up that keyframe that's at the bottom. We're going to go to the right-hand side. We're going to go to where it says end, and we're going to make that 0. So now we're going to take it from the 1 position. I'm going to take it to around the 20 position before I create my first keyframe. And I will create it right here. So this is the start of the animation. And then I'll want it to end at around the 80 point. To discern how far you want it to be depends on how long you want the highlighter effect to be going for. Best way to gauge this is to start at 20 and go and I want it to finish now. Okay, so around the 90 point, and we'll make that 1 and then create that little point. It's very important that you make it to where the end is set to 1 before you click on the keyframe. If you don't, then you're just going to be animating it as 0 and then typing 1 and wondering why it's not working. All right, so there's our animation. All right, so besides that, if you click on the Bezier curve, right click on the keyframe, you can go to interpolation mode, and you can change the animation. You can change how fast it is. You can give it a bounce, right? So if we go to the dynamic effects, by the way, by default, I believe it's Bezier. You can go with any of these ones for the easing. I'm going to use bounce really quickly just to give you a concrete example of what it actually does. And by the way, you apply it to the first one, not the second one. Boing, boing, boing. There we go. So that would be how you would do the animation. Go over to the right-hand side, click on the output properties, go to the output properties. Inside of the output properties here, you'll see this is where the file is actually going to go. So we'll set it to downloads, accept. And then inside of here, you'll see file formats PNG. Set it to FFmpeg video. It'll set it to a .mkv file, which is a little bit better than an MP4 file, but it does have one problem. An MKV file you can't just automatically throw into a video editor for, well, most video editors. All right, now that we have where it's going to be going, what we're going to do is go up to the Polaroid camera, go down to the very bottom, color management, and set it from filmic to standard. So this is going to be more of what you would see out of a normal video. Now what we're going to do, we're going to quickly take the end and make it to 110. We don't need 250 frames, so make the end 110 and press enter. All right, now we're going to go up to the top right to the shader view. So this is what it's going to look like. It's pretty dark. It doesn't really have good lighting. So to add good lighting, what we're going to do is go to add. We're going to go to light, and we're going to go to area light. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take that area light, and we are going to move it. So let's go to move, drag it up. And on the area light, let's click on the settings for it and make it, instead of square, rectangle. Then on this outside, you click it, drag it to encompass your image, and then take specular, make it 0. So this is going to give you a much deeper color. Specular gives it that sort of bloom look to it. So we're going to turn that off, and you can increase the wattage. I'm pretty sure it's fine though. It looks pretty clean, but if you need to, you can take the power and increase it just by, I'd say, 50. And we are going to now add a camera. So go to add camera, and the camera is facing down. So we actually don't want that. We want the camera facing directly down. And the best way to do that is to actually, when importing the camera, press F7. This gives us the top-down view, add, and then go to camera. All right, so now the camera is exactly where we were just facing. Now all we got to do is take that little blue handle and drag it all the way up to around there. Press 0 on the numpad. This will give us an overview of the image. And we got to bring it down a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the camera, press G, press the middle mouse button, and drag it forward, up and down. Not left and right, up and down. So when we press G, we drag it up and down until the camera is perfectly in view on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. Let go of middle mouse button. And left click. That'll set it in place. We've got exactly what we want. Now press 0 to get out of that view. Go up to the top left, render, render animation. All right, now the animation's rendered and we see the frames up the top left, which you'll see the frames the entire time if you're doing it in PNG file format, but if you're doing it in MKV, you won't see it until the very end. Now we're going to exit out of here. All right, now in where we actually save the video to, you can see it's in the MKV file format. Bringing over my currently recording OBS, if I click on File and I go to Remux Recordings, inside of here, if I put the MKV file in there that I just recorded, and then I go to Remux, now it's in the MP4 file format, which is something that's a lot easier on video editors. And delete the old one, and boom. Now we've got our animation. Alrighty guys, hope you enjoyed. Subscribe for more. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.